Okay, thank you for attending today's webinar. We are going to start the Agentic AI Orchestrate Physical AI in Healthcare and Life Science. First, I will start. Uh, let's check that. Okay, today I'm going to talk about four big topics. First, I'm going to talk about the introduction. What is physical AI? And we're going to talk about state of art of physical AI innovation in healthcare and life sciences. And we touch on real world use cases and agentic AI orchestrate framework. Let me check whether I can do the full screen. Okay. Okay, so first, the introduction. So what is physical AI? I already shared the deep dive analysis type white paper about today's topics. And also I shared this presentation. So I will skim over. I want to touch upon the most essential part and then let you read more if you are interested in. And I want to have a more time in the Q&A session. A physical AI is a relatively new concept. If you are not in deep tech area, especially focus on in healthcare and in life sciences, even if you're familiar with the AI in healthcare, this physical AI is very new topics. You will see that I think that this is the first time maybe ever who talk about the physical AI focus on healthcare and life science applications. So I briefly touch upon the what is physical AI. So physical AI refers to artificial intelligence systems that are embodied in a physical devices or physical infrastructure and physical entities that is capable of perceiving, reasoning, and acting the real world. You can think about like a robotic system, right? But it's like a humanoid robot. But the difference is that this is AI, not the programmed control of the robot. It's unlike software-only AI that produce output that remain informational or advisory. You know well. This is embedded in a hardware, so robot and vehicles and any other kind of the hardware. This doesn't have a material consequences, right? Because it AI is directly that the outcome will be in the action of this hardware system. So it we call embodiment changes the nature of intelligence. So the embodied the physical AI transforms intelligence from computation into interaction with the physical world. Intelligence, this is like a physical world interaction. So it's make context and timing and physical constraint in central to system behavior. And it is a closed loop perception, reasoning, and action. So physical AI operates through continuous closed loop feedback cycles rather than isolated computations, and usually done in the traditional robotics. So in physical AI systems, the sensing, reasoning, and actuation are tightly coupled over time, so can adapt dynamically. It's different. And fundamentally different from software AI that I mentioned before, that it kind of like it related to actions, so it error manifests as a physical consequences, right, rather than an incorrect or correct output. So uh, Robustness, fail-safe behavior, and predictability is very important, rather than just like a performance, how much accurate, how much it can be predictable like in software AI. So it really into like real world reliability is the issue. And you can think about all different type of vertical industry, robotics, smart manufacturing, autonomous and semi-autonomous vehicle, or so, drone, logistics, energy, infrastructure management, consumer robotics, aerospace and defense system, and scientific instrument in all the vertical layer. And healthcare is something that's special that I'm going to talk about. So that's why that it is even if it is relatively new, it's widely adopted in different industry like robotics and manufacturing, but not much in healthcare because I'm going to explain. Uh, so it is a traditional automation, right? Because you can think about the AI kind of like a robotic automation process, RPA, something like that. Other kind of like automation, industrial automation, utilizing AI. This is not that type of it, right? It is adaptive intelligence in the operating under uncertainty, not programmed control. So it must function with uncertainty, not predicted in a free coded and incomplete information, sensor noise, and changing conditions. So the autonomy is not just one factor. The feature of physical AI is autonomy level is just design choice, not like a defining characteristic. So and the human presence is a part of the environment. So in many domains, physical AI system must operate safely and effectively continuous interaction with the humans. So transparency, trust, and human in the loop control across more physical AI deployment is very important. And in high risk profile, definitely, because of it outcome is action. So it's a physical interaction with the environment. So that demand a stronger guarantee of safety, accountability, and governance. So I will touch upon that our main topic that in physical AI innovation in healthcare life sciences. So in healthcare, because of the characteristics of healthcare, they are concerned about in the human health, right? So human well-being health. So their like innovation is a little bit different from other verticals. So the clinical risk and regulatory exposure is very important. So their physical act is actually interact with the patient biological process or safety critical workflows. So so this is that the clinical consequence shaped innovation, right? So it's not innovation driving healthcare, but rather than the healthcare clinical consequence shaped innovation. So it's somewhat different in innovation paths. So healthcare physical AI innovation is fundamentally shaped by clinical consequence, institutional capability, and regulatory scrutiny. So the favoring reliability and governance over rapid or constrained innovation. And then it requires so multiple innovation lanes. For example, that it like the healthcare advance through the multiple innovation lanes governed by distinct technical and institutional constraint because of the directly affect patient care, high validation required regulatory burdens. But those operating healthcare environment without clinical decision making can iterate more rapidly. And in healthcare, that if the act is related to medical activities, then they are under FDA scrutiny. So the compliance in the United States, so FDA regulated clinical physical AI is a type of the physical AI application that the mostly safety critical and tightly governed class of the embodied in healthcare is very similar to the regulatory compliance of the medical devices and drugs. So it kind of like the category of this one with the surgical robotics and neurological care system and cross physiological controls and the interventional platforms. So this is a high risk profile, and also they should be follow the regulatory pathway. And assisting and social physical AI is another type that is a human engagement and well-being over clinical intervention. So it kind of like a robotic design for like a elder care, dementia support, and artisan therapy or neurodevelopmental engagement type, right, with the children. So and next fear that you can think about is to rehabilitation and wellness physical AI. So usually that this type of with some devices to engage with the human interaction, but their interaction is not like a therapeutic intervention, rather than it's kind of like a physical therapy robot, the adaptive exercise frame and cognitive simulation system. Then the important for it is that this is whether is the act is a medical or just for the human well-being or just some kind of like they call that nothing to do with the treatment or the medical activities, right? So this is something that we should have in mind that. So this is one thing that I recently I attended CES, and there was the conference about focus on health, digital health. So it is I think that this is the one of the big changes in CES main topics. The people was mostly consumer electronics. Now they are diverse, and then digital health, the healthcare itself, is now a very core topic in the CES. Is one changes actually that I share in my LinkedIn my insight of what I have experienced CES, but this is very relevant to our talk because there was one session that the in FDA commissioner gave a talk about their delay rate. So that means that they call like a consumer digital health, right? The consumer digital health is what I just defined this as something that something in the blurry with a medical device. So they can act as a medical level kind of like effectiveness, but under like a rigorous scrutiny in FDA is not defined as a medical device because their act is not traditionally defined as medical device. So they want to be relaxed, like a regulated pathway for this kind of device. Actually, the nearly 90% that was exhibited in the CES show is under these categories. So this is a very huge market potential. And so this is $1 trillion market. This is one thing that maybe trigger in a future that this consumer digital health or consumer healthcare will be the one big core topic in traditional healthcare domain. So, having this in mind, that in life science laboratory physical AI, kind of like some you have a lab equipment, right, and drug development equipment, something there, and then they will be utilizing physical AI to automate laboratory and self-driving experimentation platforms and robotic sample handling system time. And then healthcare AI is compared to other physical AI market. And so there is still there that not much people talk about it. Is healthcare is one of the most constrained yet highest value market for physical AI. That's a have I already talked about it. Okay, so real world use case. As I told you that this concept is very new to this like healthcare in life science community. So even you're expert in a AI in that domain, actually I never seen many people actually talk about this topic. And even the real world use case is very rare. So I only have three cases actually that I have two actually I experienced in CES, and the other is I just found out. Okay, so Precision Surgical Robotics, NVIDIA Physical AI platform NVIDIA is one of the strong kind of like a pioneer and then supporter of the physical AI because of the characteristic of their business model. And they provided some live execution grade physical AI surgical robotics platform and integrate the perception, reasoning, simulation, and robotics into single closed-loop clinical system. So it shows how physical AI can operate end-to-end in safe critical surgical context. So embodied execution grade system will latency, trust, safety, and governance are critical as model performance. So I think that the surgical robotics, that actually the surgical kind of like devices, supporting devices are well known. And then it is started to be implementing this physical AI concept. So I think that this is also like this highly risk profile and heavily regulated. So it kind of like a high end of physical AI application in healthcare. And I think that will keep going on. So good progress will be, and then mostly will be read by some big companies have a capability to handling these technical and regulatory things. And this actually that I took from the CES, and then they provided some live demo about this precision surgical robotics utilizing physical AI. And Aberdeen is I also I found in a by any chance actually that I look around the showroom of the diesel has I thought I found that in my eyes a very I thought, hey, this is what I'm looking for with that. And then they just specify that they are the world first the physical AI for senior anti-medical care. Oh, this is the one actually that I was looking for. So I talked with the founders and I found that they are exactly what it talk about, not rigorously like in a medical domain that as you see in the like for example digital therapeutics, there are many different type of digital therapeutics that in a medical domain require FDA and the clinical trial and then the intervention type kind of like cure some dementia or the other kind of like for senior. But this is a webbing product, so it is not for they are not intended for the seriously intervention type, but it is support in the senior care. So it is very cute type of the robot. It's a kind of like a they call social robot. You maybe have experience. There are several type of the social robot that we we be supporting the elderly people or some of the like in the child, right? So this is one of the type. So it targeting scaling care for aging population. And then in delivering sustainable human-centered support for dementia and population scale. So this is the one. So you will see that here that this is the one. Aberdeen is a social robot for the interact with elder for the dementia and many other things that you may know about like provide a good memory or there's some memorable whatever that or the require some communication with the elders. So actually the one of the section they call the aging technology is a big section of this digital health showroom. So this is one thing. And the other thing is this fine thing. You know, because the funny thing is that I organized this kind of webinar for healthcare and life science topics more than 2 years. And then usually that I found the new topics and I try to bring some of the pioneers and innovator in the space. And then usually they accept my invitation, except this time. I found a two company that expressly say that they're utilizing physical AI in healthcare and life sciences. And then I contacted them, one founder actually I linked with him in LinkedIn, and then I invited to invite my webinar as a speaker. He just didn't reply anything from the time. I'm not sure why they hide. Just they have a website, and they expressly say that they're developing the physical AI in healthcare, but why not? And this company was the same thing, like, because I found that in an internet search to find out a good real life use case, and I found one. This is a very I just do like to try to contact the founders of this company to invite. They didn't reply anything. They didn't any contact to me. So I don't know. I don't know because physical AI is not secret. There may be some reason, but this is very rare case that I invite a lot of the speakers and I found that contact them. This is two cases. So unfortunately, I could not have any guest speaker today to share their actual experience of developing this physical AI in healthcare and life sciences. Anyway, okay, so Agentic orchestrated physical AI this is my proposal. So nobody actually done before. So I just Agentic AI orchestrate framework expert. So I apply this in many different type of application, and it was my main topic in the previous webinar. So I just propose that integrate the agentic AI where this physical AI will be the good candidate for the like scale up, and agentic workflow will be give the another layer of the physical AI application that I believe. And maybe NVIDIA, I saw that in the NVIDIA like a showroom floor, they have a different type of the AI, including agentic AI, some applications. So they are same company, maybe not communicate, but anyway, because they can be implemented anyway. So, and I found that in another layer that in the CES that agentic AI is utilizing, for example, other areas like quantum computing that I also focus on. So anyway, I just think about what the structural limitation of today's physical AI. So across healthcare and life sciences, deployed physical AI system remain locally intelligible, systematically fragmented. So systematic integration, for example, the surgical robot monitoring platform, assisted robot laboratory are optimized for narrow tasks with tightly bound context, while they achieve high precision sensing and actuation. They rarely coordinate across workflow, time horizon, and organizational boundaries. So I just propose that what if that agentic AI is participate in physical AI orchestration layer, then it can be like a traditional reactive intelligence. The reactive intelligence is presetting, right? Because the majority of physical systems operate relatively rather than in a goal-directed manner, right? So another thing is the human is like in the human serves as the primary orchestrator of physical AI. So it's kind of like human agent AI co-file orchestrator. So it'll be the another layer that we can think about it and then an architectural limitation can overcome. Also, the Haskell research constantly shows that increasing autonomy is not the appropriate response to this limitation. So, agentic AI autonomous will be like a kind of like a control and then orchestrate with tie with the physical AI. And Agentic is the missing orchestral layer. So Agentic introduces new layer, the intelligence design to orchestrate physical AI system responsibly. So it can be goal-directed reasoning and temporal planning and explicit constraint enforcement. So it adds kind of like coordination, planning, and governance. So to operate coherently across device and workflow while perceive accountability and trust. So what I'm thinking about personally, what I'm interested in is that recently that the last webinar topic of the agentic AI orchestrated quantum computing. So I just proposed actually that I did some fundamental research about how to utilizing quantum computing in addition to like a quantum machine learning plus like agentic AI orchestration layer to developing the new type of the drug discovery. And this can be integrated with this kind of physical AI because there is one layer that require, for example, in the experimental level, for example, most of the drug discovery up to now is not actually the AI, actually they are traditional wet kind of like experiment. So this kind of like experimental process has that kind of like some laboratory equipment. So they can be implemented with this one, and then in the integrated in the theoretical part of the AI driving quantum computing capable kind of drug discovery. So I'm just thinking about it as a new direction to add up. Um, and then deliberately avoid, it should be devoid or to certified control logic. So it try to avoid like a traditional physical AI at all. So it's modular type orchestral layer, top of this the traditional physical AI system. And then separate of orchestration execution. So it's a modular validation maintaining existing safety and certifications. So this is one not yet implemented. I just try to find out where this agentic AI orchestrated physical AI can apply. So this is a high impact domain is ICU and neuroclinical care kind. So agentic AI enables longitudinal care orchestration in intensive and neuroclinical care settings and also hospital operations. So hospital operation by coordinating physical AI system at scale. So for example, they support the disruption recovery and reduce cognitive burden of a step or enabling more resilience hospital operations. And also the elder care, right? Coordination occurs. So for example, that you see the everything, right? A little bit more coordinated or the multi-agent kind of system to the engagement and planning, allowing scalable support without expanding clinical risk. Also a pediatric and the neurodevelopmental support will be possible. And also like life science and R&D. So I just propose that the physical AI can be completing through the orchestration. So agentic AI complete the physical AI by transferring isolated system into coherent ecosystem. So rather than competing with the physical AI, agentic AI integrate device data and human into goal-aligned system. So intelligence becomes structured, governed, aligned with the healthcare realities rather than autonomy-driven ideas. Okay, so that's it. So I want to just have some time to, if you have any kind of question or comment or the share your experience, because like the physical AI is relatively new and then even it's very rare in healthcare and life science application. So I want to talk with you that to share your experience or you have a comment or insight or whatever that I want to hear from you. Is there anyone to any comment and insight or to share? Yeah, yeah, Randy. Yeah, yeah. So if possible, is you can just show and share your comment, Randy.
Yes.
hmm
Oh,
So
I just
how about the feeling of a physical AI? Because because the reason that I choose this topic is because I'm going to attend the CES because of the this year's there was the big topic that I'm interested quantum computing, physical AI, digital health, all my intention. So I just saw the pre-survey about what the physical AI. And then as in my presentation, is very rare in healthcare and the life sciences, and I feel like I need to be initiate this kind of like something, right? Because physical
sure.
AI will be one of the dominant topic because NVIDIA and a big giant driving, right? So why not
Exactly.
in a healthcare license? Unfortunately, that even after the CES, there was JP Morgan, right? But I could not find any topic physical AI in JP Morgan, so still earlier, right?
Wow.
So what's your feeling
Not
about
surprising though.
AI in healthcare?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all these things I'm learning is just how AI is just like progressively pushing I feel every
Mhm,
field further,
mhm,
into realms where most people don't even think it's possible. I mean, today I was just learning about how, we're steps closer to even making body parts, which
mhm,
to me, is just amazing.
mhm,
Most people probably don't even look at, a lot of the things even you're presenting, Alex, as like part of like the accelerated future that's starting like right now. Like every
mhm,
day, I feel there's all this acceleration occurring. It's almost
mhm.
like too much information. I have to pace myself because I'm involved in like so many things. I have to realize that, I'm just getting too much information and try to
Mhm,
prioritize different areas.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that this year that I found that because that because there were a lot of the commentary about the what the CES insight about the future of AI, right?
Yes,
And then I think that this year the most really serious about where there is actually the business case of the AI, right? Because a lot of people
exactly.
just worry about kind of like a bubble, like too much in the bubbling in the AI expectations, and then too much for example, that recently there was a industry survey about the in healthcare life science and in other AI type of the investment, right? Because only few, like OpenAI, only few just got all the funding, right? And
No,
then
exactly.
and
Yeah.
then a lot of people just worry about what happened. Some of the company actually gone, and that there was a warning this year that OpenAI will be gone, in the near future.
No,
There was
yeah.
something that some people to explain that because, for example, that the Microsoft actually the not anymore with OpenAI. So they declared that, and also a lot of the, for example, that the Gemini is very very advanced. Right? Recently, the comparison of Gemini and the OpenAI ChatGPT, then the Gemini won. So
Mhm.
anyway, so a lot of people, and then even that I was sure that for over 3 years I focus on healthcare and then also there was a lot of the bubbling also in healthcare because I saw that a lot of people, anybody in healthcare talk about AI, right? And but not viable like a business case actually the in healthcare that I've seen. Only you see that the only that in the business case is a healthcare operation like a revenue cycle management, right? And some of the patient engagement and
Yes.
something, right?
Mhm.
Nothing to the core of the healthcare, right? And then and then to me that this is the important year that we need to find out the business case in any vertical and also in healthcare, right? So I'm also going to focus on, and this is this year's kind of like starting, right? So well, I'm going to be to find cultivating that what with the how actually can to have a business case in healthcare, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess some of the things I'm even looking at is just like, like vaccines for addiction medication, which
Mm-hmm.
is something that's never really been, I guess, able to get it even to the point of the last phase of FDA approval. But
Mm-hmm.
that to me is very interesting. I
Mm-hmm.
know they're focusing on like drugs like fentanyl, cocaine's been one. But to me, the most interesting one is smoking because a lot of people don't realize like more people die of smoking related death, three
Mm-hmm.
times as much as people who overdose on fentanyl. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be utterly amazing if they could come out with a smoking vaccine that could prevent your, desire to smoke, that it wouldn't hit your brain.
hmm
by the chemicals that are released in your bloodstream, and it teaches your body a new immune system almost to smoking.
hmm I think that I just you talk about like smoking, so that's one of the like that was my previous like favorite topic that were like more function control in digital therapeutics type, right? Because like a behavior change or something like that. But I think the physical AI can contribute, like for example, that they embed in the like some infrastructure of the like a smoking region, right?
Oh,
And then
sure.
yeah, they want you, right? Something, right? And
Hmm.
that'll be the one idea that maybe the physical AI embedding in the infrastructure to interact with human in the smoking habit kind, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I guess the problem's always been is that they're unable to keep your therapeutic levels
Mm-hmm.
throughout the course of the day. So you require too many vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe there's a company right now working on this vaccine for fentanyl. But
Mm-hmm.
again, I don't know like how far they get because that's always seemed to be the stumbling block.
Mm-hmm.
Was just being able to have the levels of the vaccine maintaining, therapeutic amount so that you don't have to worry about if you actually would take a puff of a cigarette
Mm-hmm.
because it would never reach your brain.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like you said, that's a behavior part too. That's also
Mm-hmm.
needs to be addressed. But
Anyway, thank you, Randy. Yeah.
sure, I
Yeah.
appreciate attending all your webinars. It's
Yeah.
I learn something every day when I attend.
Yeah, you know the next webinar topic will be very fantastic. Not tonight, but in the 2 weeks later. This is I think that I coin a new framework that needed in AI in healthcare, right? So that'll be exciting because I just kind of like elaborate new framework that actually needed in healthcare, and this is AI framework or deterministic AI, not probabilistic like stochastic type that you have seen frequently in the healthcare in AI in healthcare type kind. And then I found that recently I found another the group innovators starting to looking at this space. So that'll be the one of the big topic that I'm going to endeavor this year. So
Well, I'm looking forward to attending it.
yeah, yeah. Anyway. Okay, thank you. So is anyone that share your comment and anything you can share, right? Because we have enough time, right? So this is not much official, right? Because unless I invite some guest speakers, if I talk only, then I prefer to talk anyone that very frequently in like just anyone you can share. Is there anyone do you want to share your experience? Yeah, Jose, nice to meet you. Jose, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I,
good to see
I
you.
dialed in late.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So how's it going on? Because this guy is one of the leading kind of like event creator in AI in healthcare, right? Because he has a somewhat different direction, but he's very practical, right? So he can share
Well,
his experience.
I'm all over the place because I produce webinars for different organizations. Um, so they kind of obviously I put my style on it, but it reflects each channel reflects the goals of the organization I'm producing the channel for.
hmm
So that's why I look like I'm all over the place.
hmm
I'm actually really interested in my ears tweaked up when you said deterministic,
hmm
and you said you wanted to do another event about that.
hmm
Is it premature to ask you a little bit more about what you're thinking there?
Oh no, because I already developed framework and I have a white paper. And also, I collaborate with two. One is I'm a strategy advisor. The other is we have business collaboration. We already developed something new and something dear. So yeah, it's time. And so I think the physical AI maybe in the future. with one of the like kind of like for example, they are not what I mean is not is software AI, deterministic software AI, but it can be implemented with a physical AI. So so there was something that very similar concept in deterministic AI. We like introduced term physics informed AI. And here is a physical AI. So physical AI is embedded software AI implement embodied in the physical entity, right? Here is the your software AI. The usually if you let go freely, they are stochastic. You see that for the neural network, right? They are on the probability how much weight they have in the decision making. So they weigh 190% correct or something like all the like AI application up to now was a stochastic bound, right? And then they apply even in the healthcare. It's a large language model utilizing that one. And then always about how much the probability they correctly provide the correct answer for your medical question or whatever, right? That's all the mainstream of the AI. And then recently there was a group that applying that how actually can be make deterministic. Deterministic means that the simple answer is that like a physical AI, the deterministic means that your outcome always determined, right? So it is not probability, right? If you set that you want 100% correct answer, that should be 100%. What this means is that if it is a good test that you test your AI, your system, provide the same question, what answer? You will see that, for example, you're using open ChatGPT open AI, your answer always different. Right? Not same answer, right? So what I mean is the determinist means that your answer should be determined by the your input. So they should be one-to-one match always, right? This is very important in some specific area of healthcare, right? Not even in the medical area. So because recently I also have some have a collaboration with other group that I mentioned the quantum computing, but actually the quantum computing is not the main topic. Actually, I found the one group in CES, and they developing is they call quantum QML. It's kind of like a quantum computing like ChatGPT. So, but this concept is not new, right? Because I also developed is like whenever you need traditional computing and quantum computing, they switch over to optimize your computing. So that's it. But the main topic that these guys have done was that uh, doing the answer, for example, you have a very, we are very familiar with the ChatGPT, right? It's a prompt, right? You provide the prompt to ChatGPT and interact when they give the answer to you, right? And then this pattern actually is based on in behind this large language model the stochastic model, right? So the answer is optimized for the like a high chance or like probability. And then there was always hallucination bias because of this nature, right? And then this group's guy done was to quantify your question. Because if you qualify, right, like a human language, like it's a context can change, right? So even the same language or whatever, right? Same meaning, right? It provide in ChatGPT the same meaning. The context will be changing a little bit, and then in the ChatGPT provide always different answer, right? This is a heuristic of the traditional AI. And then this guy's done is to whatever you ask something, they quantify this is their know-how. So I ask about the detail about how you did your quantify. I mentioned that I quantify using physics info means that the provide the exact rule like a physics law, right? To provide to the reasoning stage that AI left for this like physics info boundary. That within this boundary, try to reasoning. But he did a similar idea, but actually, he also use AI. So there is some limitation that once have a question through the prompt, and then the behind there is agentic AI to understand the perception, and then try to reasoning based on that to provide a quantified your question. So they made this rule, right? Because I thought, oh, this is very similar to my concept, physics informed, right? The boundary, and then provide the answer. So I asked him about the have you tested the same question, the same answer? He said yes. So I we decided to collaborate. He just focus on in other industry vertical, then I focus on healthcare. So we are going to collaborate in the healthcare direction. But that's that type. So what we are propose is that we need to provide a boundary to deterministic. And then we using physics informed is a traditional one. There was a well written the kind of like documentation and research paper in all of the place they call the physics informed neural network. So we utilizing that one in one way, and the other way that also I'm also working with other guys to exactly provide the physics. For example, in the medical device, right? Your medical device behavior under very physics. For example, the MRI device, right? MRI device that scan your, for example, scan your like breast cancer, right? And then diagnose like based on scan, right? And there is a like a magnetic interaction, and then some kind of like a screening process and measure something and diagnose. But this MRI actually the based on physics, right? Because how they produce interaction is exactly there is exists physics. So we're utilizing that on, and then the AI understand this physics, and then what happened is that you don't need to repeat it screening for different purpose, right? Because one screening, one set of data, and physics, AI understands everything, right? And then in any type of the different screening, we can synthesize without any actual machine screening. That's a very fantastic idea that actually we developed something. So this is something, and the other application we are doing is clinical trials. So we are doing is clinical, for example, in the clinical trial activation. So you need to site selection, patient, everything set up, right? So and then recruiting patient to participate in clinical trials, and then we set the boundary that how many patients should be included, how many chance that we can be starting within which day, and then we using like the physics informed machine learning to categorize every layers, and then and expect. So it'll be like orchestra agentic AI, and then produce that if you provide some kind of like initial study of the like for example what is the end point, whatever you like a protocol of the clinical trial, it's setting everything automatically within the deterministic way, right? So it set the boundary of the how many patients will be, and then how many days will activate, and how to be keep them in the clinical trials, right? We already developed, so I'm going to show them, but this is just a small starting. But I need something that the adoption from the community, especially a lot of people talk about AI in healthcare, right? So that is fantastic.
I put a LinkedIn profile in the chat,
Uh-huh.
Alex, and this might be a little bit outside of
Uh-huh.
your what you're looking for.
Uh-huh.
There's a an academic in King's College London
Uh-huh.
called Dr. Paul Sacker,
Uh-huh.
and he's part of an international group
Uh-huh.
called the Behavioral AI Institute.
Uh-huh.
They're looking to develop deterministic systems that can be combined with LLMs.
Uh-huh.
Now they're actually looking specifically for things that modify, things that counsel people's behavior, mental health,
Mm-hmm.
behavior modification, um, therapy and treatment adherence,
Mm-hmm.
where they don't want to go fully probabilistic.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have some kind of, and what they're doing is very interesting. Is they're not a startup. They're not selling a product. They're doing work collectively
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be made available at a pre-competitive stage
Mm-hmm.
to other companies. I don't think they're going open. I'm not too sure if they're going open source. The idea is they're building a toolkit
Mm-hmm.
so that other people building these solutions don't have to invent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the problems is everybody understands you need to have some kind of determinism to balance the probabilistic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so expensive for startups
Mm-hmm.
to do all this work on their own
Mm-hmm.
that they'll just have a very simple decision tree
Mm-hmm.
and they can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is actually something I don't know if you remember Jody Rank. He's my friend and mentor. He died this last year. Is that some of this work needs to be done at a pre-competitive stage
Mm-hmm.
and shared
Mm-hmm.
so the whole field can advance. And I shared his LinkedIn profile with you
Mm-hmm.
because he might be an interesting contact
Mm-hmm.
for you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this kind of like a deterministic idea in healthcare might to be there will be someone in world of because there are a lot of AI experts, right? Because they already like me, like I still look at all the different type of healthcare application using AI over the past years, and I teach at Johns Hopkins about the codes and many things, and I found oh there is something missing. And then try to find out what's that, and then I finally find out, right? Because this is a new direction, right?
I think also it needs to be. I know for like the mental health
Mm-hmm.
side,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things they're up against
Mm-hmm.
is people are on TikTok
Mm-hmm.
sharing hacks on how to bypass all the safeguards in
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT, or in Claude or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there needs to be something quite robust,
Mm-hmm.
but and the group of researchers, and they're all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
they're called the Behavioral AI Institute.
Oh.
They're specifically looking at things, at systems that are user facing,
Mm-hmm.
that are not necessarily providing mental health treatment
Mm-hmm.
independently of a clinician,
Mm-hmm.
but they're systems that are people are accessing in between consultations.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is there's a lot of systems either around or coming up that are providing services to patients in between their consultations,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to have that extra level of safety
Mm-hmm.
on those systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I've interviewed him a couple of times. He's a
Mm-hmm.
very interesting fellow.
Mm-hmm. I
And
see.
so when you said that earlier, my ears perked
Yeah.
up.
I see. I see. Thank you. Yeah, I will contact him. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is there anyone that share your insight or comment? Anything? If you're expert in AI. Okay, so no more. So I hope to see you in my next webinar, right? Because as I mentioned, that a very fantastic new framework in AI, particularly in healthcare. So I hope to see you again in my next webinar. And I will share this recording and presentation and post as my in my LinkedIn. And I thank you for attending and then hope to see you again. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you, Randy, Jose, and everyone.